Hello, everybody. Dr. Sheila Craig Whiteman, the pelvic coach here. And I want to know if you're ready today for a little anatomy lesson. So I think that we are going to do just a little bit of an orientation to this mysterious pelvic floor that Sheila keeps talking about. So let's go ahead and do that. So to do that, I have a pelvis, right? So I do have a pelvis, and I'm just going to orient you first to where we are with the pelvis. So just think about if you're sitting in a chair, right? You would be sitting, this would be the chair, and you would be sitting down right here. So you would be sitting kind of on your ischial tuberosities a little bit, which are these, and then sitting down just like this. So this is your spine back here. This is your coccyx, your sacrum, right? And then down here is that tailbone. So we always talk about the tailbone, that little bitty bone right down there. So you talk about your tailbone. These two flares are the two flares of your pelvis here. So if you put your hand on your hip and drop it down till you feel a bone, that's what these are here. So that's your orientation. This is the front. And of course, if this is the spine, this is the back. So that's the orientation of the bones. So now let's talk about the pelvic floor. So let's look at this as if when you go to the doctor, okay, and you're lying down, what are they seeing? Now they're of course seeing skin and fat, but let's talk about what's up underneath that. So these are the muscles of the pelvic floor. So this is what we're always talking about, or I'm always talking about. And let's do a little bit of orientation here. So this here is your anus, right? Okay, your rectum. This is your vagina right here. This is your urethra. This is your clitoris right here, right? And then you see you have all of these muscles around that are supporting it. Now we're going to talk primarily about the muscles in red, right? This right here, okay, so remember this is the front, this is the back. So this right here, it's a fat pad and also a gland. So you have some glands to give you moisture, right? And of course you do have some fat in the areas because you can't really have just skin and muscle because that would be certainly uncomfortable. Some of us have a little bit more cushion than others, but it is all good. So that being said, so let's talk about the muscles here, because the one thing I want you to realize is that the muscles are really in layers. So if you can see, or hopefully you can see, there's a top layer here, and then there's a layer that's a little bit deeper here, and then there's one that's even deeper here, which when I flip around, I'll show it to you. When we are doing our Kegel muscles, we have to target all of these muscles. So just think if you are doing, now this is your vaginal canal right here. So if you're just doing a Kegel, thinking I'm doing a Kegel, and you're squeezing, and you're just squeezing right around here, okay, so you can really squeeze that. Number one, you're going to get overflow here. So you're going to be squeezing probably these two areas here. What about all of this? What about all of this? This is what we really have to target. And this is why sometimes Kegels have not been as effective as people hope. But that being said, so we do have the muscles that are here, right? We do have, they're right here actually, the muscles around here, which help to support the whole urethra, vaginal canal, et cetera, et cetera. So they keep all of that in place, right? We have these muscles here on the side, right? So they do have names, right? Bulbocavernosus, ischiocavernosus, transverse. Okay, and here's your transverse muscle. So layer one is here, right? Kind of keeping everything in that layer one section in place. Layer two, okay, so layer two actually will include your sphincter muscles. So if you look, let me see if I can bring this even closer. So if you look, the muscles actually have direction, right? So they're directional. So look at how this goes around here. It actually goes around like that. This one, and then it kind of a little bit of a crisscross of the fibers and goes around like this. Those are your two sphincter muscles. Those open and close, which is right because they're circular, so they can open and close those openings. Very, very important in your continence, right? Because you really want to be able to close off the flow of urine when it's time. So you have the circular muscles, and then we have the level three muscles, which are here. And if I flip this around, right, You can see them. Let me turn it even this way maybe and get it a little closer. You can see it from here. So these muscles, they look like a bowl. Those are the muscles that really help to support, actually they support the organs staying up where they're supposed to be. And they also help to support you in the continence, in staying dry and actually closing, helping everything to close off when it has to close off, so that you don't leak. So if you look at these, this one here, right, that's the still rectum, and all of this is your vaginal area up here, because don't forget I flipped it over. So that is just a brief and very brief. I can talk about this even more, right? I could talk about it even more. And of course, these pins that you have in it, I just like to keep my stuff kind of neat. But you don't have pins in yours. Yours is just strictly muscle, fascia, muscle, fascia, skin, and fat, and some ligaments. So that being said, I know I went a little long, but I did want to explain a little bit more about what the pelvic floor is. So if you have any questions, of course, don't forget, comments, share, etc., etc. If you want me to, review this again, I certainly can with a little bit more detail. But until next time, if you have any more questions, don't forget, you can comment. And I will see you again. Bye-bye.